7 reasons why you should never mess with quiet people. Before starting the video, if you are new here, please subscribe. Have you ever wondered why some folks prefer to stay quiet in a loud, bustling world? Well, here's the deal. Being reserved doesn't equate to being weak. In fact, quiet people often hide a treasure trove of wisdom and inner strength behind their silence. If you underestimate or try to manipulate them, you might find yourself dealing with surprising outcomes. Stick around to learn why it's not a good idea to mess with quiet people. 1. They pay close attention and understand more than they show. Ever met someone who isn't the loudest in the room but seems to have a superpower of noticing everything? Well, these individuals are like that. They might not talk much, but they're like human sponges, soaking up information without you even realizing it. They're fantastic at picking up little details that others might overlook, and they have an impressive memory. So, you can bet they understand way more than they reveal. Number 2, understanding the power of words. Being quiet doesn't mean being unaware. Quiet people really get how important our words are and how they can affect others, either in a good way or a not so good way. They're careful and thoughtful before they say anything, making sure their words count. That's why when they do speak, what they have to say is often really meaningful and worth paying attention to. But here's the thing, quiet folks also know that sometimes saying nothing can be just as powerful. They know that silence can send a message too. It's like a powerful tool to express different feelings or show disapproval without saying a single word. 3. Don't underestimate their observational skills. At first glance, quiet individuals may seem easy to fool or like they're not really paying attention. But don't be misled by their calm exterior. Quiet folks are often more observant than you think. They notice subtle things and can tell when someone is being dishonest or insincere. Even if they don't immediately confront you about it, they'll remember the deception and it might affect their trust in you down the road. So, if you're planning to deceive a quiet person, think twice. They're sharper and more perceptive than they let on, and you might regret underestimating them. 4. They maintain a low profile for a reason. Quiet people often have a more reserved and introverted personality, so they're not as open or forthcoming with information. They tend to keep their cards close to their chest and don't reveal much about themselves. This can make it hard to get a read on them or understand their thought process or motivations. At the same time, if you try to push them out of their shell or force them to reveal more than they're comfortable with, they may become defensive or shut down entirely. It's always better to just respect their boundaries and not poke around too much unless you want to risk getting on their bad side. 5. The power of emotional resilience in quiet people. Quiet individuals possess an incredible superpower. They can maintain their composure when the heat is on. If you ever attempt to intimidate or provoke them, don't expect the usual reactions. This is because they carry an abundant reserve of inner strength and emotional resilience, which prevents them from easily losing their cool. You'll often find them staying cool, calm, and collected even in the most nerve-wracking or demanding circumstances. These individuals have an exceptional ability to control their emotions and think clearly, even when others around them are in a state of panic or chaos. This makes them a force to be reckoned with if you ever decide to challenge them or push their buttons. Number 6, they're strong in their own skin. Ever notice how some quiet folks just seem so comfortable being themselves? It's because they've got a solid understanding of who they are, and they like themselves just the way they are. They don't feel the need to prove themselves to anyone. They believe in their abilities and trust their decisions, so they don't go seeking approval from others. This superpower also means that negative comments or opinions from others don't knock them down like it might for others. They're not easily influenced by what everyone else thinks or says. This makes them less likely to be affected by mean comments or pressure to fit in with what everyone else is doing. They're strong in sticking to their beliefs and staying true to themselves. 7. They're not afraid to stand up for themselves. Ever notice how some quiet folks just seem to have it all together? They're like quiet powerhouses. These individuals know themselves really well, what they like and what they don't. If someone isn't treating them right or if a situation is just not good for them, they won't hesitate to walk away. They won't compromise their own happiness or well-being just to make others happy or avoid a fight. This can be a lesson for anyone who underestimates them. Even though they're quiet, these folks have a bunch of awesome qualities that make them strong. They're self-aware, really good at observing things, and handle tough situations gracefully. That's why you should never mess with them. So, the next time you meet a quiet person, remember, their silence isn't a weakness, it's a sign of their remarkable inner strength. If you liked this video and learned something new, please click the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you can see more of our interesting videos. And if you want to show some extra support and love, you can use super thanks, which means a lot to us. We're really curious about your thoughts, so feel free to leave a comment below and tell us what you're thinking. Thank you for watching.